So my understanding is we were approached by a hotel developer that was wanting to build a structure that was taller than the current height restriction in local business, which is 42 feet. Well, in our commercial zoning district and also our central business, which is the downtown area, the height restriction is 70 feet. So it's just a modification of the local business ordinance, changing that height restriction from 42 feet to 70 feet.
Okay, and what exactly is the feet that the business requesting?
So I don't know exactly. I would assume it's probably somewhere close to 70 feet, or not beyond 70 feet. Most of those larger structures, or the hotel structures, are, I would say, probably somewhere between 60 and 70 feet.
Okay.
Turn that thing off.
So what made them want? What made you guys want to, or the staff wants to increase the height?
Sure. So our planning and zoning department was approached, and I believe there's a piece of property in Lufkin that is connected to a commercial property, but it's zoned local business. So in a local business zoned area, there's certain things that you're restricted of doing that you could do in a commercially zoned area. And we I guess, opposed to changing the zoning from from local business to commercial, it made more sense to change the height restriction. So an example would be, for example, in local business, you could restrict the hours of certain businesses, whereas in commercial, you may be able to have a business, maybe like a car dealership that stays open till 10 o'clock in commercial, whereas in local business, you can't do that. In this particular area, I think backed up to a residential area. So we were interested in having more restrictive zoning on a piece of property that backs up to residential. So that's the reason we felt like it made sense to just increase the height or change the height restriction in that zoned area.
Right. And so pretty much like one of my questions was going to be, what makes the Lufkin local business district different from the central business district?
So I don't know offhand, but what I will tell you is there's certain restrictions or certain, I guess you could say, additions or things that you can do in these various zone districts. So for example, we have residential, so you can only build a residential home in that area. We have residential small, medium, large, and that has to do with the size of the home or the size of the lot. And that's very much the same in commercial zoned areas. So commercial is one of the most open as far as development, commercial development. These would be areas like the mall, the south end of town, where we have a lot of like chain restaurants or fast food places or large retail establishments. The central business district downtown doesn't require parking because there's not a lot of parking down there. You park along the streets or parking lots. So that's one variation in those two. There's light industrial and heavy industrial, so those would be more of manufacturing type facilities that you could build in those areas, but you couldn't build in a commercial district. So I don't know the main differences between local business and commercial, but I think a lot of it has to do with a local business may be close to a residential area. So there's certain things like maybe light restrictions as far as the amount of time your lights could be on at night, because that might glare into somebody's residential home, or hours. You wouldn't want a business to be open, say, 24 hours. There's not a restriction in commercial for amount of time your business could be open, but there is in local business. So just things of that nature.
So we do kind of use those zoning areas as kind of a way to put a buffer to just protect the integrity of our neighborhoods. We want to welcome the business, but then also protect the integrity of our established neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah, and I could say that. So the city of Lufkin utilizes zoning to protect the integrity of various parts of our community. For example, you wouldn't want to have a heavy industrial area next door to a residential area or something along those lines.
Right. That definitely makes a lot of sense. So is there an effort to bring more local businesses to Lufkin?
Always. Yep. I mean, so let me say this, in terms of business overall, we want to bring, any business that's positive that makes sense for our community.
Okay.
And we're still hunting for a downtown hotel.
Yeah. Still looking for that. Yeah.
Awesome. And so pretty much for the business for the hotel that is, brought up the concern, what does this mean for Lufkin residents?
So as far as changes or the effect of this change on residents, I don't really see any change other than a height restriction going from 42 to 70 feet. So you're not talking about a big variation there.
The positive aspect, though, of one more,
Yep.
nice new overnight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, this change is an example of our approach to development within the city. We want to work with developers, and they approached us and they had this issue, so this is our way of working with them to do something positive and create a new hotel in our community.
Okay. And is there any opposition?
No, I don't believe so.
No.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.